I met Tony through an introduction agency, and our first date was to a local cricket club function. And from there on we got together, and here we are. We're married and happily living in a lovely paradise. Well, I think it's 34 years now? 36 as I've just been informed. Yeah, 36 years. Probably about after about 6 or 7 weeks, I think I like this lady very much. We're going to have some fun. And I don't think we've ever stopped having fun, and that's the best part of life, having fun and just growing together. You know? Well, I think the best part is when we go out, we learn things. When we have holidays, we see things that we haven't seen before. And like we go places and we just discover, like when we went to Townsville for a few weeks, we went to all the different gardens that they had up there. All 4 different, they have 4 different gardens, and each one of them was planned on a different theme. And just to look at the plants and just see what they can do in such a harsh climate, it's just a great way, and it gives you ideas what you can do in your own home. You know.
Yep.
As a couple, we love playing golf until I injured my shoulder back in 2010. So that's taken a lot of our enjoyment of playing golf and getting out on the day and going away up the country playing golf. We have a shared vision, and we went into harness racing and bought into horses and had some fun doing that. We were going everywhere, and we just love going out, enjoying each other's company and the company of our friends. Yeah, we love doing the garden together, which is a bit of a passion. I'm pretty good at digging holes, and Tony tells me where the plants go, and if I get into trouble if I don't dig the hole big enough. But I get really scared sometimes, because I think the hole's not meant for the plant, it could be meant for me. But as you've seen with our garden, everything's coming along real nice, and Tony always comes home with a plant now and then, and she'll say, I think this will go right in this spot. And I'll say, okay, where do you want the hole? And away we go. And then we just watch it grow. And it's a great passion of ours, being out in the garden. And I've got into growing vegetables, and Tony loves growing vegetables with me, and what we don't have for use ourselves is donated to any of Tony's friends at work and anybody else who wants them. It was a problem to me when I couldn't work out how I was ever going to pay back what I owed. And in saying that, I got myself into a situation where I would gamble money that I never had. And it's a typical problem with gamblers, as I found out. You are trying to win back money that you've just lost by taking more money out of a credit card, which at one stage I had 3 different credit cards, unbeknownst to Tony. And it was just a simple case of, oh no, I'll just take a bit of money out of this one, I'll figure out some way of paying it back, and I'll win around the next corner. And it got to the stage where I just could not see the light at the end of the tunnel. I didn't know what to do next. I was in a situation where I was in a dark spot. I just didn't know what to do next. So it was either come clean and work out pardon me, what to do next, or keep going further and further into debt. So I thought, I've got to tell her what's going on. It was just causing me too much headaches and sleepless nights, to be honest, and worry. And I thought, well, if the worst thing is going to be, whatever happens can't be any worse than where I am. And luckily enough, I've got a wife that understood. And her words were, don't worry about it, we'll get through it. And that was the best thing that could ever happen. And we already knew Twee with as a financial advisor, and he came on board and helped us out. We also had a mortgage broker who was recommended to us at that time, who was in on the conversation at that stage, but they pulled out rather quickly because they said, look, we can't help you at all. But Twee's answer was, quite simply, don't worry about it, we'll get it all fixed up, we'll set up a plan, we'll get you out of this situation. And to be honest, he did. He actually gave us a plan of how to solve the gambling problem, well, help solve the gambling problem, get out of the debt I'd created. And here we are down the track, and now we own our home. I don't have a gambling problem anymore. I went to Gamblers Anonymous. I went through a course there, and we still go out and enjoy playing a bit of pokies, and we gamble a bit here and there, but I don't do anything like I used to, and it's all thanks to the fact that Tony accepted I made a huge mistake, which could have buggered us up, for a long time, and it did for a while. But in saying that, if it wasn't for Tony and Twee's help, I still would have probably been in the put.
Right.
Her support was quite simple. It was a case of, don't worry about anything, we'll get through this together. And that might sound very simple, but without those words behind me, and without her support and Twee's support, I don't think I'd ever get. I didn't think I'd ever get to where we are now. Not me, but where we are now. And to actually come home from work and look out the window and say, we own this. This is ours. We can do what we like. We've still got money in the bank. We've still got our supers. We've still got our love and our friendship. And we've still got the support of Twee. And he's still here, and he's still doing a great job of helping us out. And when we're ready to retire, he said, I can retire anytime I'm ready. I said, but I'll wait for Tony, and when she makes that decision, I'll make the same decision. Honestly, I honestly believe it wasn't for Tony and Twee and all the advice and support I've got. And Gambling Anonymous is just a sideline.
Yeah.
If it wasn't the support I got here, right in this room, I wouldn't have been here today. That might sound dramatic, but that's true.
Yeah.
It started from too much downtime from work. When I first started for the company that I'm working for, I was employed as a casual, and I would start early in the morning, and if there was only 5 hours work, then that's all you'd get. So you'd be starting at 4:30 in the morning, and you could be home by 10 o'clock in the morning. And then it was like, oh, what am I going to do? You'd get to the stage, I'll just go around to the local hotel and play the pokies for half an hour. And half an hour turned into an hour, and then another hour, and then you'd think, oh, better go home, Tony will be home soon. And it was more or less the fact that, apart from the fact that I was doing a bit of work around the house and whatever, it was just something, a way of getting out, and possibly thinking, I can win a fortune here, and that'll help us pay for the house and stuff like that. But unfortunately, you don't win fortunes. You might think you do, but you never do. You just create more debt, and that pile drives into a huge debt. Financial advice, we decided, Tony's twin sister, Joanne, had a financial advisor who was Twee, and she was explaining what she was doing to us one day, and I thought to us, between Tony and I, we just worked out that, okay, we could probably, use a bit of advice here and there, So we bought, we got in touch with Twee, and he was quite happy to come and see us, and that's just on 9 years ago now. And ever since then, the advice we've been given is positive advice. Sometimes we might disagree with some of his figures and not understand them, but once he sits down with you and explains them and explains his program and where you're going to be after this is done and that's done, it's quite achievable. And I must say that without his help, we wouldn't have been where we are today. And I think it's fabulous. And he's not only a financial advisor, he's a friend, and he's a long-term friend. And I think that's as important as being a financial advisor, because if you don't like someone, you probably won't take their advice. And apart from the fact he's a Western Bulldog supporter, he's become a good friend. And someone, if we've got something we want to think of doing, we can just pick up the phone, ring him, ask him if we can borrow his car, And that's the idea that, okay, Bob and Tony need to talk to us about something. And he'll give us a ring back and come out and see us. Financial advisors, to me, no. I didn't understand what they did. I thought they were just somebody that was attached to a bank that, okay, they'd give you an idea, they'd say, oh, if you do this, you know, you might make this. But I didn't really understand what a proper financial advisor could do for, you know, just normal people like us. And I class ourselves as very normal people. We're not, you know, overly high paid, but it's amazing what just us on a, you know, reasonable wage, you know, can achieve. And I think if we can achieve it, anybody can achieve it, you know, with the right advice. Yes, because there's never been a time where we couldn't ask Tui to explain something that we'd have a financial plan in front of us, and if we didn't understand something, you couldn't go. There's not a time you couldn't actually sit there and say, sorry Tui, I don't understand what you mean by that. He would say, okay, I'll just go over it again, and it all makes sense, you know. And it's just so easy to understand when there's a purpose for it and there's a goal at the end. And that goal at the end is to own this home. And to be honest, my mum and dad never owned a home. And I used to look up to my brothers and think, gee, how did they ever get to own a home? You know, must have been ages, well, taken a lot of hard work. Well, now we own a home, and it's taken us a lot of hard work and a lot of wasted money on my side of it. But with Tui's help and advice, we've got there. And we're still in a position where we're both healthy and working. We've still got our superannuations, and we're comfortable. And we are going to be comfortable thanks to his help.
Right.
First thing was to get all the credit cards together, find out exactly how much was owed as a total, close them off, and take that over into the home loan, and then just work a plan out to pay it down. Now, to me, I never ever thought that would have been possible, because I didn't want to put that debt onto Tony, because it wasn't her debt in the first place. It was my stupidity, and there's no other word for it. It was just plain stupidity of not saying, hey, you're out of control, you need help. So with Tui's help and being able to get all these things closed off and just cut out the worry about trying to pay each credit card every month, and all that was happening was the interest was just going up and up. I wasn't getting anywhere. So without his help, we'd never be where we are now. Simply the fact that it's out in the open, the debt's gone completely. I honestly sleep better at night. I have a much better relationship with my wife. I have nothing to hide from her. And we just enjoy our lives now, without having to worry about, oh, hang on, someone's going to be tapping on the door saying, you owe us some money, when are you going to pay us? Because there's nothing there anymore. You know?
Great, thank you.
Coming from a large family of 9 kids, where there was 4 boys in 1 bedroom, in bunks, and you're always thinking, oh my God, is this going to be all the same? And then as your brothers got older and they moved out, you thought, oh, I'm finally off the top bunk. I get the bottom bunk, and then I finally get the wardrobe. And then you think, how do people ever get to own their own homes? And I never ever knew that while my mum and dad were alive. But I'd see my brothers go on, get married, move out, have homes. And my eldest brother, who I admired tremendously, he became a tailor. He then became a union rep in Victoria for the clothing industry, and he was a massive success with whatever he put his hands to. And I used to think, and I used to take advice from him sometimes. And I used to say, how the hell did you ever get to where you are? He said, you've got to work at it. You've got to make sure you aim to do something. And I said, well, I want to own a home one day. He said, well, if you don't start saving some money sooner or later, you know, you'll never get there. And I used to think, oh yeah, but I don't earn enough money to save money. But it wasn't until I met Tony that I actually started saving some money that I earned. And then between us, we bought our first house not long after we got married. And it was like, gee, we actually are buying a house, our house. And then I think it was, 10 years or something, we almost owned that house because we were paying extra in our mortgages. And then we moved from one to two to this house now, and now we actually own this house. And to me, that's the greatest thing you can ever have, because you've got stability. It's yours. You can come home, you can do what you like, you relax, go out there, enjoy your garden, do whatever you want, and you don't have to pay anybody anything except the council. And it's just the enjoyment of and relaxation you get from owning your own home.
It's very
And it was always a dream of mine to always be a homeowner and own my own home, because that is the greatest feeling I think anybody can ever have. Right. It's always been a dream of mine to own my own home, or our own home, because I think it's the greatest feeling anybody can ever have. And to have that feeling and stability, you can't go past it. Doesn't make any difference what else happens. You can win Taslotto, but if you can own your own home, it's fabulous. More than money, I think it means growing. Actually seeing what you're actually working for come to fruition. You know, the money you go to work for, you're putting it into something that's going to be yours. And now that we're finally there, that actually means more than money to us. And even though we now own the home, the money we're still earning, we're still putting it into our future. You know, we're not putting it in, don't take it the wrong way, I'm not putting it into a bank where the bank takes so much, it's all ours. So that's a great feeling. That's, to me, that's more than money. You know, it's our money, we can do whatever we want with it, and there's things that we still want to do around our home that we can now say, well, yeah, okay, we can do it, as long as we get Tweeter's advice. Yes, I'm still working. I work for a transportation company, and I've been there nearly 12 years. I drive a forklift. I used to drive trucks, but due to the injury to my shoulder, I'm unable to do that any longer, but I still enjoy my work. I used to work, well, up until before I had my operation a month or so ago. I used to work 9 hours a day, and sometimes 6 days a week, but now I've cut it back so I can work about 7.5 hours a day and only 5 days a week, and we're still comfortable.
great.
Most of the thing I enjoy is coming home, and I'll know that now that Tony's working less hours, that when I get home from work, she'll be home from work. We can sit down, relax, have a cuppa, look out the back door and have a look at the garden, and if we want to go somewhere, we've got the rest of the day to ourselves, and we can just do whatever we want and just enjoy each other's company. I'd have to say my wife Tony. She inspires me most because she gives me the most pleasure, the most joy, and comes up with some of the funniest things you could ever hear sometimes. And sometimes you've got to scratch your head and say, well, I don't know what you meant there, but I'm sure it must be funny. But and then sometimes you think, oh, I know what you meant there, and I'm a bit worried now.
Great.
Well, spare time is making a cup of tea for Tony, so she keeps working in her room, and it leaves me down here in peace, haha. And then we love their spare time is gardening. In our last holiday where we had just on 7 weeks together, which is probably the first time we've had that amount of time off together, which was an absolute fantastic time because we went to Townsville for a couple of weeks and then we come back, went to Tasmania for a week or so, and then we had a week or so at home. But in that 7 weeks we just absolutely had a ball. You know, it was a second honeymoon virtually as far as I'm concerned, because it was just fantastic to get away, relax, not worry about anything. not worry about what we were doing, or we had to be anywhere at a certain time. And the only thing we did miss was the fact that we couldn't play golf. You know, and if we had been able to play golf, that would have been a bonus, but that was about the only thing we missed. The fact that I'm still alive, I'm nearly 66, I'm happily married to Tony, and we've got a beautiful home to share, we've got great friends, we enjoy our company, our friends' company, and we enjoy meeting people and getting out, and we enjoy talking to people like this, and we enjoy our friends that we've made, and one of them especially is Troy, because as I said to you before, we class him now as not only a financial advisor, we class him more as a friend that, you know, came into our life and has helped us a hell of a lot. The person that most inspires me is my wife Tony, because I know that I can tell her anything, I can share everything that I want to share with her, she shares everything with me, and we just get on and we're just happy, and we're happy with each other's company. Tony does her things with her framing and her quilt making, and I'm here to help her out. I try and share as much as I can as the housework goes, and but I would say that she's the person that most inspires me. What I like most about my life is, what I love about my life most is, what I love about my life so much is, the best piece of advice I could give someone is, if you want something, the first thing you've got to do is you've got to set your mind on something, set yourself a goal, work hard for it, don't do anything stupid, because people go ahead and do things stupid, think they're going to get things out of the clouds and make a fortune. But the best piece of advice, you've got to work hard for it, and you've got to have a good partner, and that's about the best piece of advice I could give to anyone. What it's taught me most is gambling is addictive, and it's stupid to try and hide something from your partner, because it doesn't matter what you try and do, the more you go into it and the more debt you get into, you can never get out of it on your own without being honest with your partner, and without a financial help and support of your wife, partner, whatever you want to call it, you'd never get out of it on your own. That's the only thing I can ever think of nowadays. You've got to get out of it. If I was thinking of someone who needed advice financially, I would not hesitate to advise them to go to a financial planner, and in our situation I would not hesitate to give him Tui's name, because I can only go by what he's helped us with, and we've been a success with his help, and I think he could help anybody with their problems.
Well, he was actually the fourth person I met through the introduction agency, and that was the 29th of February 1980. And then after the cricket club dinner dance, we went and ventured into golf, and I think that was the thing that kept us together, the golf. I first met Bob on the 29th of February 1980, and he was the fourth person I met through the introduction agency. I needed a partner for the cricket club dinner dance, so I thought he'll do for the night. Meet the next person, but I never got around to meeting the next person. Yeah, so we ventured into things that we shared together, as golf and horse racing and things like that. And one thing led to another, and here we are, 36 years later. In the latter half of our marriage, his honesty. He's caring. He does a magnificent job vacuuming. Just mainly his attitude towards me has mellowed and softened, and what can I say? He's. I think we're more in love now than we were when we were first married. Driving, country. We go for a lot of country drives. Gardening, of course, and going to the trots. Yeah, it's a bit. I don't like him coming shopping with me. As a couple, we enjoy country drives. We often go out for a day, just have lunch somewhere up in the bush and come back. Obviously, we enjoy gardening, and we used to enjoy a lot of golf together. But also horse racing, harness racing, and just generally being together, as Bob said before. I was pretty shocked, but I had found a bank statement that had been shredded in the bin, so that's what sort of gave me the clue to it. And then Bob actually told me about the gambling perhaps the next day or the day after. So I wasn't sure what the debt on the account statement was, but when Bob told me it was from gambling, it sort of fell into place. It was $60,000. And Bob's gambling debt was actually $60,000. His initial reaction to me was, "Do you want me to leave home?" I said, "No, there's no point in that. What's happened's happened. We'll just have to work out a way of getting through it, and just getting through it together." My outlook at the time, I was thinking, we've probably put the house in jeopardy. But then when Bob suggested that we contact Twee, and then there's this tiny light. Initially I thought I should do the first consultation because Bob was so upset about it and embarrassed. So I can't remember why we got involved with this mortgage broker. Someone at work had recommended this particular woman, but when she was here, she was going down the completely wrong path. Twee was here at the same time when we got in touch with him, and he came out. And then after that meeting with the four of us, when the mortgage advisor left, Twee just said, "I think she's advising you to go down the wrong way." So we took Twee's advice and went his way. It wasn't difficult to speak to Twee because we knew him, but the other lady that was here was a bit awkward. She was quite determined that gamblers don't get over gambling. And she'd say, "Oh, he'll go back to it." I said, "I don't think he will." And he hasn't. So it was a bit awkward to explain to Twee why we needed his help, because he had set us up on a plan before that. But once Twee actually came out and we went into the details of what had happened, he was quite helpful. Not down-putting or not accusing Bob of any particular sin, so to speak. No, he was very good, very helpful right from the start.
Right back for you.
No, I didn't really appreciate how important it was having financial advice. We just struggled with our finances basically since we were first married, and you don't realise how much you waste if you haven't got a plan in action. So the advice from Twee was exceptional. The plan for the debt was to increase our mortgage, but pay it off with our transition to retirement funds from superannuation, just to get the debt down a bit, which worked really well. And then we got to a stage where I got a payout from super because I'd turned 65, and we used part of that money to actually pay the debt off. It was quite exciting actually pay the debt off and have the home. In actual fact, I was so excited when I got a little bank statement, mini statement out of a machine in the local shopping centre. There's no one I can tell, who can I tell you? So I did a little bit of shopping in Coles, and I told the checkout chick. Yes, so it was very, very, very exciting. Twee's, being our financial advisor, is very relaxed, very friendly. We can ring and ask him any questions at any time. He's always there to help when we need help, and I can't say much more than that. He's just fabulous. It's just so lucky that we were put onto him from my sister. Oh, absolutely, yes. A very good friend. I would consider Twee as more than a financial advisor. He is definitely a friend, and I hope will be for quite some time. Financial advice is such a empowering product. As I said before, you don't realise how much you waste on little bits and pieces, and bigger amounts that you spend, until you've got that plan in action and you've got something to follow, something to go by. So it makes a huge difference to families' financial strategies. More than money is the freedom of not having any debts. It's the freedom of being able to do what we want when we want. If we want to retire now, we can. Just having the relationship with your husband that's honest and open and mainly debt free. Yes, I am still working. I'm the admissions clerk at Williamstown Hospital. I admit patients for surgery every day, welcome them, make them feel relaxed, have a joke or two with them. And yes, I class myself as the first impressions officer. I do, yes. I've worked there for nearly 48 years and I'm hoping to stretch it to the 50-year mark. In my spare time, I have a small picture framing business which has been quite successful over the years. I love doing quilting and sewing, which is very addictive. And gardening, of course, we love gardening together, and walking, we ride our bikes, and going out for meals, anything to get out of cooking. The future is secure and independent, and we're able to do what we want, go on holidays, buy more material. We just do what we want now, and that's all thanks to the advice we've had from Tweety. In retirement, I would like to be able to go line dancing, ballroom dancing, get Bob into ballroom dancing. Be really good if we could get back to golf, but Bob's shoulder restricts that completely. So just spending time together. When he goes fishing on weekends, spending time on my own, just enjoying life, as long as we're fit and healthy. Best piece of advice for anyone would be total honesty, caring, sympathy, compassion with anyone and everyone, particularly your closest relatives, as in family. Coming through financial uncertainty teaches you to be more aware of what you're doing, more aware of other people's possible financial problems and being sympathetic towards them if they have problems and want to talk to you about it. Just in general, just gives you the advantage of being able to help other people if they ask. Great. Who inspires me? Bob inspires me to a certain degree. I'm most grateful for the peace of mind, financially in particular, and just the ability to think of doing things that would not have been achievable financially previously. In general, just being more satisfied with the lifestyle that we've got now that wouldn't have been achievable without the experiences we've been through. It's being financially able to take trips if we want to, renovate the house if we want to. It's just that freedom of not having to worry about debts or commitments, which not having to worry about those two things in particular is more than money itself. Yes.